Welcome to Sheikh Hamdan's official channel, a sanctuary of love, loyalty, and the soul-stirring words of His Highness Fazza. Today's revelation is not just a message, it is a vow. A vow etched in destiny, sealed in silence, and spoken now for the world to hear. Now and forever you are my wife, is not merely a phrase. It is a crown of truth, resting upon the head of the one who has endured, who has waited, and who has quietly carried the weight of an unseen love. Sheikh Hamdan has always spoken through verses, but today, he speaks through his heart. For years, the world witnessed his smile, his adventures, and his royal duties, but few could ever grasp the storm beneath the calm. This is not a tale of a royal wedding. This is a confession of an eternal bond that was formed not in public, but in the unseen corners of time, where two souls met before the world even noticed. He begins by writing, "I kept your name away from the winds because I feared the world's cruelty. I buried your identity in my silence not because I was ashamed, but because I loved you too deeply to risk losing you." These words, echoing like thunder, finally bring clarity to years of mystery, to the unspoken presence of a woman whose heart carried Fazza's legacy in secret. She was never just someone he loved, she was his spiritual wife, chosen by fate, embraced by his soul. In poetry soaked with pain and grace, Sheikh Hamdan confesses the battles he fought against expectations, traditions, and the image he was asked to preserve. "They gave me crowns," he writes, "but I had already given my soul to someone who asked for nothing in return. The woman in the shadows was not a secret, she was a sanctuary. She never demanded proof, public recognition, or titles. Her love was silent, strong, and sovereign." Sheikh Hamdan speaks of her resilience. The times when she watched him from afar, cheering his victories but crying in silence. The nights she wrote him letters and never sent them, the mornings she whispered his name into prayers that only God heard. "You were already my wife in my prayers," he says, long before anyone thought of wedding halls or signatures. These lines crush all doubts. This was no ordinary relationship. It was divine, sacred, protected by angels and bound by pain. In a moment of raw honesty, he reveals the promise he made to her years ago. "One day, I will say it publicly," he told her, "and the world will know you not as a mystery, but as my miracle. Today is that day." Through this message, he fulfills that promise. It is not just a statement, it is a spiritual coronation. He lifts her from silence and names her, my wife, now and forever. There is a depth in Sheikh Hamdan's voice as he continues, "If anyone questions our bond, let them look at the years we endured without breaking. Let them see the poetry I've written, every line soaked in your name even when I couldn't say it. Let them know that you were not a choice, I was born to find you." His love is not seeking approval anymore. It is announcing its existence with the roar of destiny. He speaks directly to her, as if she's sitting beside him now. "You are not waiting anymore. You are not hidden anymore. From this moment on, I place you in the light. The world may not have seen our wedding, but God did. The world may not have heard our vows, but my soul has repeated them 1,000 times." His words become a soft thunder, rolling through time and tradition, rewriting the meaning of love and loyalty. In the backdrop of royalty, Sheikh Hamdan stood as a prince, but beside her, he becomes a man stripped of titles, but full of truth. He admits how hard it was to protect her in silence, to hold back when he wanted to shout her name across the deserts, the skies, and the seas. But now, he no longer whispers, he declares, "I give you your rightful place, not in a palace, but in my story, in my eternity." He addresses the public, not to seek validation but to bring closure. Let no one ask who she is anymore. Let no one guess or judge. She is mine, not through rituals, but through a bond that even death cannot sever. With this, he honors not just her presence, but the sacrifice she made, living in love's silence while the world cheered for his every move. Sheikh Hamdan's poetic confession flows like sacred scripture, written not with ink but with tears. He speaks of how her prayers protected him, how her silence gave him strength. In every danger, I felt you with me. In every doubt, I heard your voice guiding me. You are not just my wife, you are my divine alignment. His heart spills into every syllable, every breath a tribute to her faith. Now and forever, these words hold no end. He writes them not just on a paper but into the wind, the stars, the future. Even when I am no longer here, my poems will still call you my wife. Even when people forget my name, they will remember that once, a man loved a woman beyond borders, beyond thrones, beyond time. His voice becomes eternal through his love. And as the video ends, a soft image fades into view, a desert, two shadows walking side by side, no titles, no crowns, just two souls bound in sacred silence. A final whisper echoes, now and forever, you are my wife. And the world will now remember what we never said out loud, but what our hearts screamed every day in silence. Welcome to Fazza's Truth. This is love. Sheikh Hamdan's voice may have trembled, but his heart remained steady. As the silence lifts like morning fog, he embraces the weight of his own truth, a truth too long imprisoned behind royal obligations and unspoken rules. He stands not as a prince today, but as a man in love. And in that love, he finds courage stronger than the might of 1,000 soldiers. He says, no more secrets. No more silences. You are not my hidden love anymore, you are my forever wife. The one the world tried to ignore, but heaven always remembered. He reflects on the early days when their connection was just a whisper, a glance, a heartbeat skipping in crowded rooms. He knew she was unlike any woman he'd ever known. Not because of beauty or status, but because of her ability to hear him without him speaking, to love him without needing anything in return. You never asked to be known, he says, but today I choose to let the world know that you are the one who shaped the man I became. Her love sculpted his poetry. Her spirit danced in every word he wrote. She became his compass, silently guiding him home.